Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to another investing report brought to you in association with the BNZ. Today I'm going to have a chat here with Gareth Vaughan, our banking and finance editor, about this long saga of Allied Farmers and Hanover Finance. Gareth, what's the latest news today on Allied Farmers?
Allied Farmers has announced a capital raising today of up to $19.3 million. Now, about $9 million of this is underwritten by broking firm McDowell Stewart and sub-underwriters who are likely to be institutional investors who are taking a slice of the action in this. Now, this capital raising comes after the banking facilities that Allied Farmers has with Westpac were recently extended through till the end of March. Remember that Allied Farmers owes Westpac about $19 million.
So just stepping back here, this saga began in mid-2008 when Hanover Finance fell over and was put into moratorium through late 2008. Then at the end of 2009, Allied Farmers came along and said, hey, we've got a deal for you. We'll give you lots of Allied Farmers shares for debentures in Hanover, which gives us access to those loans. How's it gone since that deal?
Yeah, well, if you're a Hanover investor, not brilliantly. They got truckloads of Allied Farmers shares, about 1.9 billion, which gave them about 97%, I think it was, of Allied Farmers. They were at the time valued at 20.7 cents. Now today they're being offered one new share for every 3 shares they hold in Allied Farmers at just 2.5 cents a share. The share price was trading around 5 cents before this announcement. It's now down to around 4 cents. Allied Farmers has managed, I guess, to realise some of the Hanover properties and loans, but not a lot thus far. The big one being Stage 2 of the Queenstown 5 Mile development, which Allied should take in somewhere in the tens of millions, somewhere between $10 to $15 million from. But yeah, it's gone pretty slowly if you're a Hanover investor. And Rob Allaway, Allied Farmers Managing Director, is indicating today that there are tough times still to come.
Because, as I understand it, Allied Farmers has the current government guarantee up until the early part of October, but doesn't have it beyond that. How can they survive and thrive beyond early October? Because it doesn't look like they're going to get the extended guarantee, does it?
No, what Rob Allaway is saying is that they have been reconfiguring Allied Nationwide Finance, that's their finance company, to operate without a government guarantee. Their credit rating is too low to get into the extended scheme, which kicks in October. It sounds like they either don't expect to get their credit rating up or they've given up on trying. So he says margins will be lower for Allied Nationwide. The business will look quite different. I mean, you can take from that perhaps it may be smaller. Perhaps they might end up merging it with someone else. That's probably a possibility. They announced a deal with an Australian company called Resimac some time ago, whereby Resimac has the opportunity to buy shares in Allied Nationwide, which would involve them, I think from memory, investing about $7 million. But that hasn't happened yet. And it's quite a conditional sort of arrangement, which it's hard to say when or if that will actually come to fruition.
It's a lot of water to go under the bridge yet for Allied Farmers in the next 6 to 12 months. They've got to raise a lot of money from these loans that they've got with Hanover Finance. They've got to extricate themselves from this deal with Westpac, and they've got to complete this capital raising, which is still got a long way to go, isn't it? In the meantime, Hanover Finance investors, who already have a truckload of paper, are going to get a few more truckloads.
Yes, and it sounds like a lot of them actually are still Allied Farmers shareholders. I mean, obviously, in the initial aftermath of that deal going through just before Christmas, the shares for debenture swap, quite a few Hanover investors sold out at that point, but it sounds like quite a few are still there. And yeah, look, they get the opportunity to take on even more shares, or if they decide they don't want to take on more Allied Farmers shares, then they get further diluted. In reality, for Allied's share price to get back up to that 20.7 cents level that they were issued their shares at, or for perhaps dividends from the company to come, I mean, we're a long way off from either of those two things happening, it would seem, at this point.
It's been a tough winter for people who are Hanover Finance investors. Meanwhile, Mark Hotchin is in Hawaii and Eric Watson is somewhere in the north. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was a special investing report brought to you with Gareth Vaughan, our banking and finance editor, in association with BNZ.